This is Overboy, and I'm going to be doing my top 10 favorite horror movies of the 2000s. This is part of a series I'm doing where I rank 10 of my favorite horror movies from each decade since I was born. I did the 90s here a few days ago, so this time I'm going to be doing movies released between the years 2000 and 2009. And it'll be a while before I do my 2010s video, because I still got a few movies that I'd like to watch before I do that list. But I'd like to go ahead and do this one first, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. Number 10 is Thanksgiving. I almost didn't consider putting... I considered not putting this one on here, because it is more of a comedy, and it's like a B-movie. But I just absolutely love this movie, and it is considered a horror comedy, so I went ahead and decided to go ahead and have it on here, because this movie is just absolutely stupid, but it is like stupid in the best way. It's absolutely hilarious. It's really cheesy. The acting is terrible, and I think that it was actually meant to be the way that it was. I don't think that they did it to... I think they knew what they were doing when they made this movie, that they were intentionally trying to make a movie that was cheesy and not very well made, and it just is a lot of fun. It's not like The Room, where Tommy Wiseau really thought that he was making something really good and everything. I think these filmmakers knew what they were setting out to do with this movie, and it's just absolutely balls to the walls crazy and a lot of fun. So, Thanksgiving is number 10, and number 9 is Saw 2. I've only seen all of the Saw movies once, except for this one and the first one. And I really like all of the Saw movies, for the most part. I think they're all alright, but at least from the last time I remember watching them, I enjoy this one the most. I just really like the story with Donnie Wahlberg's character, and his son gets involved and stuff like this and like that. And there's like a big twist at the ending that was really cool. And I thought this was a really good movie that had good continuity with the first one, and it was a pretty good sequel. And at least for right now, it's my favorite out of the Saw franchise. That could change when I review and rank them later on this year, because I'm going to review and rank them when Spiral gets out. But so for right now, number 9 is Saw 2, and number 8 is Rob Zombie's Halloween. I actually really liked the first Halloween movie. I think that Rob Zombie did. I think that it was a lot of fun. For the most part, and I liked Michael's backstory. I like we kind of got to see why he's crazy and everything, and they kind of made him sympathetic and stuff at the beginning, but then again, he's not really sympathetic because he's crazy at the same time. And I think that Tyler Mane did a really, really great job playing the older version of Michael Myers. And I really like the small appearances from Sid Haig and Danny Trejo and other people that had appearances in this movie. The only thing I really don't like about it is in the unrated version there's this rape scene that is completely unnecessary and adds nothing to the movie. And I really hated that scene, but if you take that out, for the most part I really enjoy this movie. I like how the first half of the movie is like an origin story for Michael, and then the rest of the movie is a remake of the original. I thought they did a pretty good job with this movie. It's not as bad as most people say it is, but that maybe it's just because Rob Zombie's a required taste, though. Everybody seems to have different opinions on him. You either love him or hate him. And personally, I really like him, and I like this movie a lot. So Rob Zombie's Halloween is number 8, and number 7 is Trick or Treat. I saw this movie for the first time during October. It took me over 12 years to see this movie, because when it first came out, I had known a bunch of people at school and stuff who had told me that I needed to see it and everything, but I was like, this is a direct-to-video horror movie. It's not going to be that good. And at that time, I wasn't really a huge horror movie fan. I liked some every once in a while, but it just wasn't really my genre back then. I was more of into comedy. Nowadays, I'm actually more into horror than I am comedy. But I really, I like this movie quite a bit. It really impressed me that I actually thought it was as good as everybody else did, because it had a lot of hype and everything. And when I found out that it was directed by, I think his name's Michael Dougherty, I think is how you say his name. He directed Krampus, which is another movie that really surprised me. I was like, I gotta see this movie now because of him directing it and everything, and I love this movie. I personally do like Krampus a little bit more, but I do love this one a lot. I think it's a really good movie, and I look forward to rewatching it again this year for Halloween. It's probably going to become a yearly watch for me. So, Trick or Treat is number 7, and number 6 is Fingerprints. I've always liked this movie quite a bit. It was one I kind of have a bias towards because, and everything. It's like one of my favorite horror movies, but part of it I think is because it was filmed here in my home state and my home city, and even some of the scenes were filmed at the high school I went to for a while. So it was really cool getting to see this movie, and one of my old elementary school friends, his dad produced this movie too, so like I have a lot of love for this movie because of stuff that I know about it from behind the scenes and stuff and everything. I thought this was a really good movie. It's really underrated and everything. I highly recommend it if you haven't seen it, but it is kind of one that's hard to find. If you can find it though, I would definitely recommend it. So Fingerprints is number 6, and number 5 is The Devil's Rejects. I absolutely love this movie. Once again, it's a Rob Zombie movie, so it's not going to be for everybody. Like I said, you either love him or hate him, but I absolutely love this movie, mainly because of Sid Haig. I think he was absolutely wonderful as Captain Spaulding in this movie, and I really like Otis too, played by William Moseley. Although I like him, but I don't like him, if that makes sense. William Moseley is amazing as him, but like the character, he's not really a likable character, but I still kind of like him, if that makes sense. He's like a good, so bad you hate type of person, because I don't like a lot of the stuff he does. I mean, but he's well played and everything. And then Baby Firefly, played by Sherry Moon Zombie. I absolutely love her too, and everything. I like how she's like probably one of the. I don't know if she's crazy. I wouldn't say she's crazier than Otis, but she's just as crazy as him, and I really like her a lot and everything. I think that if they ever were to make her go up against Harley Quinn, that would be really awesome, because like she's even more crazy than Harley Quinn is. But The Devil's Rejects is just, it's a really good movie. Like I said though, you kind of have to have a certain kind of taste when it comes to Rob Zombie. If you don't like his style and stuff, you probably wouldn't like it, but I really do love it, and so far it's my favorite movie that he's directed that I've seen. I haven't seen all of them yet, but for right now, it's my favorite one of his movies that he's directed, and it's number 5 on this list. And number 4 is Orphan. This is one that I got to see the end of the movie before I actually saw the whole movie. My brother had gone to see it, and I had gone to see a different movie, and when I got out, there was like 2 or 3 minutes left. I didn't know how, plus the credits, and they said there was like 10 minutes left, so I thought I'd go sit in there and wait for him and everything. I didn't pay too much attention, but I saw like the tail end of it and saw like how she's defeated and stuff, but I didn't know anything else about it. And then my brother got it on DVD, and I finally ended up giving it a chance after he kept on recommending it, and when I watched it, I was like, man, this movie was way, way better than I expected. I never expected Orphan to be as good as it was, and it's become one of my favorites out of the decade easily, for sure, and everything. It had this twist ending that I didn't see coming. I don't think anybody I've known that has seen this movie have said that they saw the twist coming. It was just like came out of nowhere and everything, and I just absolutely love this movie. I think it's a great movie from start to finish, and it has a great cast and everything, and it's just a really good movie. So I give Orphan number 4 on here. So the next 3 are all ones that I really love. Same with Orphan. Pretty much all 5 of the top 5 are some of my favorite horror movies of all time and everything, but especially these top 3. So number 3 is The Texas Chainsaw Massacre from 2003, the remake. This is a really well done remake. It has a lot of like this movie pays homage to the original in a lot of ways, but it doesn't try to be the original. It does things differently, and when you remake a horror movie that has different things going on in it, it's always better to make it different, and I love that it did. The cast in here was all really great, especially Jessica Biel as the main character. I cannot remember what her name is, but she was great. And Arlie Irving as Leatherface's dad. He was amazing in this movie, and even better in the second one, which he stole the show in. Which the second movie was a prequel, but I really do love this movie. I think it was a really, really great movie. So, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre from 2003 is number 3, and number 2 is Final Destination 2. Kind of like with the Saw movies, I kind of debated on which one to put on here out of this one and the first movie in the franchise. And I even debated on the third one, because I love the first 3 Final Destination movies all a lot, and everything, but I do have to say that if I were to choose, I would go with this one, because I think it's my favorite out of the franchise. At least every time I've watched the franchise, I've always said that and everything. I just love, like, the kills in here are really good. The running time is perfect. It's really fast-paced, and everything. Most of the kills look really good. There is a little bit of this one didn't really have that much bad CGI. I was thinking more of the CGI in the fourth movie. But I think this one is a pretty good movie. And it moves up and down on my rankings sometimes when I rewatch them, because when I watch the first one, I always say I love that one so much it could be my favorite, and then I watch this one and it could be my favorite. But Final Destination is a really good franchise that I haven't actually done reviews for yet. It's one of the first horror franchises that I ever really fell in love with. I need to review those sometime, but I absolutely love Final Destination 2. It's a great movie. I gotta say my favorite kill in here is actually, you know what, I'm gonna wait on that. I'm not gonna say what my favorite kill from Final Destination 2 is until I review the movie. But yeah, it's easily one of my favorites in the franchise. So it's number 2 of my favorite horror movies of the 2000s. And my number 1 is Freddy vs. Jason. I was just at the peak of starting to watch horror movies at that age. I was like 11 years old when that movie came out. I had seen a few horror movies. I wasn't like a huge horror fan like I am now, but when this movie came out, I was like so hyped for it and everything, and I don't really know why I was so hyped for it, because I had only seen the first and second Nightmare on Elm Street movies, and I'd only seen like the first and third Friday the 13th movies at the time, but I was just really excited for this movie for some reason, and I'll admit that there are things about it that I like, and there are a lot of things I don't like about it, but this movie does have a lot of nostalgia. Every time I watch it, I usually do enjoy it, even though I don't like some of the things that they do with Jason in this movie. Like, I don't like how they pretty much made him Freddy's bitch. I hate that about the movie, and I hate, like, some of the things they did with him, but, like, Freddy was awesome in here. Robert Englund gave a really great performance in his last time as Freddy, or at least for right now. If he ever does play Freddy again, that would be awesome, but, or his last time in a movie, because he did play Freddy again on the Goldbergs, but I absolutely loved Freddy vs. Jason. It was a blast for the most part. Like I said, I have my issues with it, but I don't deny that I absolutely love this movie, and it's one of the reasons I love the slasher genre so much, because I did watch a lot of slasher movies after I saw Freddy vs. Jason and everything, but I kind of, like, grew out of horror for a long time. I'm glad that I'm finally back into it again, but I absolutely love Freddy vs. Jason. It's a really good movie, and it's easily my favorite horror movie of the decade, and everything. It's one of the ones that really influenced my taste in horror movies, because I really like slasher movies because of this movie. It was one of the ones that really, it's not the very first slasher movie I ever saw, but it was one of the ones that kind of started making me love the slasher genre, if that makes sense. But anyway, let me know in the comments what your favorite horror movies of the 2000s is. If you don't want to tell me a top 10 list, you could just do your favorite and least favorite. But I hope you enjoyed this video, and have a good day, everybody.